Good morning and welcome. This is Business Equity and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. Friday marked the astronomical first day of summer, delivering the longest period of sunlight for the year. So for a while it means more light in your days, 15 hours today, for instance. Depending on your business, that could mean more opportunity as well. We're here to help you maximize that. Today and every Sunday, we deliver timely information and resources for entrepreneurs, small business owners working to grow a successful business or to advance a career. Our fourth season is now underway, and we have many more conversations lined up with business owners, stakeholders, community leaders ready to inspire, inform, and empower. We're sticking with our 7 basic but always critical categories: getting started, accessing capital, the week in business, accounting and bookkeeping, tips to help you run your business day to day. We focus on a new industry every week, and in Indiana, there is no shortage of local success stories. We're here every Sunday on Wish TV and live streaming on wishtv.com. We post each of our 7 weekly segments on our website, beoshow.com. You'll also see past episodes and extra resources there. QR code will pop up throughout this hour to get you there directly to our website. Now, here's what's coming up today on Business Equity and Opportunity. Visit a charming neighborhood Irish pub in Irvington. The pursuit to improve language access for all goes to Washington. Learn how the power of a CEO advisory group is improving leadership skills. We talk to the owner of the ultimate Frisbee team in Indianapolis, the Alley Cats, and we meet people from Indiana responsible for the most successful pop culture convention in the Midwest. We are getting started with the Certified Vendor of the Month from the city's Office of Minority and Women Business Development. It is International Global Solutions Corporation, led by President Clarence Lyles.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting started.
My name is Clarence Lyles. I am president of International Global Solution, IGS. We are headquartered here in Indianapolis, and I've been in business since 2007 as a small business owner. We do work around telecommunications and IT and managed services, and we enjoy what we do here. Yeah, so originally I'm from Gary, Indiana, right? I came here in Indianapolis to go to school at IUPUI when it was IUPUI, and now it's IUIndy, but on the Purdue side as an engineer. And so way back when I was thinking, hey, I'd love to be an engineer. I love math and science, but always had this spirit about entrepreneurship. And so going into entrepreneurship was just kind of where I was led to go. You know, for me, I kind of fell into it almost, and it was just really my way because I've been an entrepreneur since I was in my early 20s. And when I started, it was tough, but I had a family member, I had a cousin who was like, hey, come and work with me, and immediately became his business partner in the real estate world. And it was like things were working, and so while they were still hard, and I was working 7 days a week and 16 and 20-hour days, I enjoyed it. IGS is the foundation. IGS is technology-based company, and the world, as it grows and moves into the future, it moves so fast. And in my opinion, it's moved faster than it's ever moved before because things change so quickly now. It took us a long time to get to certain levels of technology, but then they change in a year. Every year a new phone comes out. Every year a new car comes out, and it's got more technology, and it's faster and it's stronger. And we just came off Indy 500, and we were talking about how like the cars are at 225 miles per hour where they were nowhere near that, you know, some years ago. And so I think that focusing on who we are and the technology and bringing about what we do well, which is really the physical security, the access control, the cabling, and connecting people from a telecommunications and IT world, lends me the opportunity to do other things as an entrepreneur. We live here. How do you not help when you see people who are not as fortunate as you? And so for me, my baby is Horizon House. I sit on the board of Horizon House, which is right around the corner, and we service thousands and thousands. Last year we serviced almost 8,000 homeless individuals, we call them neighbors, because they are our neighbors. And we have to help them and treat them as neighbors. And so at Horizon House, we bring in people and not just give them a meal or a shower, but we bring in people and an address. You can't get a job if you don't have an address, if you don't have a phone number, if you don't have a resume, if you don't have a mailbox. Those things are the things that Horizon House does for homeless. And not only that, their partnership with Eskenazi and things like that to assist them in getting healthy mentally and physically. Yeah, so it's just the uncertainty. The uncertainty of funding and how to move about with things changing, and whether it be on either side of the aisle, the politics and things like that. And for me, I would just love for people first to have the consistency around helping our neighbors and helping people and helping small businesses, helping people that are bringing solutions to the table. So I think it should be agnostic as far as across the board, no matter who's doing what. We actually employ people who they move up in the company, they are able to come in, and you see people who didn't have certain things, and now they're able to buy a home, or they're able to buy a car, or provide for their kids, or move into certain places and things like that. That gives you a sense of pride. People depend on me and my senior staff for their everyday well-being. We have to be successful, and I preach that. The team, we all have to be successful for each other, because I depend on them for my well-being. In order to be able to give back to the community, we have to produce. And the second thing is my family. So I'm a big family guy. To see like my nieces and nephews and people like that, and to be able to sit down with them and to just, their uncle or dad or whoever, give them a little bit of knowledge to understand where they want to go in life, and to try to support them. That is like my favorite thing to do, to sit around, not just my brothers, my mom, my dad, but my entire family, and to sit back and laugh and joke and hang out, because like my grandfather was that guy, right? And so those are the things that drive me. Those are the things that make me work hard. And it's just the way that I know to do things.
Our conversation with Clarence Lyles contained more than we could fit into this hour, so we're adding it to our new Extended Conversations feature on the Business Equity and Opportunities podcast. Great place for extra insights from our guests and contributors. Up next this hour, we visit a local Irish pub in Irvington, one of the many community partners taking part in Irvington Pride this year. Welcome again. We often talk about how social capital may be connected to the ability of a business to access traditional capital. How a business bridges the gap between capital and community needs makes a difference. We go now to an Irish pub in the historic Irvington neighborhood, which prides itself on its connection to the community and always being a safe place for neighbors to gather. Carey Shea, co-owner of SNUG, invited us in.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Access to capital.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Carey Shea. I'm one of the owners of the SNUG. It's a bar, an Irish bar in Irvington on the east side in Indianapolis. And you're in the heart of our very tiny establishment. This is our second year, but even before we opened, we were hosting a non-alcoholic lemonade stand with different colors of lemonade for Irvington Pride 2 years ago. We were big participants in it last year. We were over at the Irvington Lodge, and where the drag show was, and the vendors all day. This year we're going to expand even more. We're going to have our lemonade stand back. We're going to have it in the kids area. and we'll be open here all day as well. Yeah, we'll be doing all sorts of things. So on the day of Irvington Pride, we will be having some special cocktails. We also just brought in a very brand new special release that has our bar in it. We're very excited. And it's a whiskey that's finished in a peach brandy cask, and we're doing some fun cocktails with that as well. If you've ever been to the SNUG before, you'll know that we have a lot of whiskeys that we've collaborated with Irish distillers to make that are just sold here, that you can taste and buy here. So it kind of is one of the things I think that makes us special. I wanted to be an actor for a long time, which meant that I bartended to make money because I wasn't making any money the other way. Along the way, I made some friends who, one of them, Jim Arnold, one of the other owners, his dream for a long time was to open up an Irish pub or bar. I joked that I was the only bartender that he knew. So when he asked me to do this, I jumped at the chance and got to be sort of creatively direct the menu, the cocktails, the things that we serve here. And that has been eye-opening to not only be that creative side of it, but also jump into the business elements of it too, and the day-to-day operations of running a business. Now, more than ever, having a place where a community can come together and be safe is more and more important, and that's what we strive for, is to be a safe place for everyone in our community to come and gather and to have a pint or just sit and work on their laptop. You don't have to drink if you come in here. And the neighborhood local, which is what Ireland always had, like the small towns in Ireland always had a pub that was a neighborhood local that you could walk to. That's what this is. This is for everyone in Indianapolis, but it's also especially for the people on the east side who can walk here and spend their time here. We've had lots of people come in that we've gotten to know even better over the 1.5 years we've been open. Babies have been born. People have gotten married. They've had photos taken here. We've had people who met in the SNUG and have come back and say, we came back for our 1-year anniversary because this is where we had our first date. So in so many ways, we want to be a place where people can come in, feel safe, talk, or not talk, just be alone with their thoughts and in the corner over there, and be comfortable. Well, part of it is physically where I am right now, which is in Irvington. I said that I started off doing theater. Well, there's a lively theater community on the east side, and that's how I was first introduced to Irvington. And I knew from that moment I wanted to live here. And once I finally moved here, I found that I kept leaving, right? My work took me downtown. I didn't necessarily know my neighbors. And being able to open this business here in Irvington, I now, when I walk my dogs, I know 80% of the people that I see on the street. And I'm so happy to have invested in this part of the community because I really love Irvington. And it's not just about loving the place where you live, but doing things to make it be even better than it was before.
This year's Irvington Pride celebration is coming up June 28th with more than 75 vendors like SNUG coming together to create a welcoming and safe place for all. Coming up next this hour, the CEO fighting for language equity because language matters. That's next on This Week in Business.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Lucas Fonseca is CEO of Language Matters. He recently went out to Washington, D.C. to be a panelist for the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights, briefed them on language equity and the barriers that come from limited English proficiency. We sat down with him to talk about the panel and find out what Language Matters is doing here in Indiana to help meet challenges.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This Week in Business.
My name is Lucas Fonseca. I'm the CEO of Language Matters, and we work with local government to help them connect with their non-English speakers. So we work with cities all over the state, and we also partner with corporations because we see that getting helping with speaking the language is very important, but we also understand that some people they have to have the ability to communicate. They won't learn the language, and so we do everything from offering services to communicate, to teaching the language and fixing the problem from the root. So the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights is doing a study to determine best practices and the best things that they can do to inform policy and future legislation around language access. There are a lot of problems that are caused because of the lack of language access, especially in the health industry. And so they did a briefing and they were inviting experts from all over the U.S. to talk about best practices, what are we doing that is working well, what are still challenges that we can get ahead of, things that we can improve. And so they invited, I was one of them, and I joined the panel on language access in local government and healthcare. And so I just had the opportunity to talk about our research, our findings, our work with local government. They were really interested in hearing more about what's being done at the local government level. The healthcare industry is, of course, the most important when it comes to these services, but they didn't have a lot of information when it comes to language access at the local government level, and that's why they invited us to be a part of that. Something that I would tell everybody and every organization is to start by identifying what are the people, what are those communities that we intend to serve. I think that it's too often that we try to assume what the needs of those communities are, and then we implement solutions that don't stick. As a result, we end up with a lot of inefficiency at every level. People do not acquire, they don't want to use the service because they don't think that it's something that they want to use. And so really trying to integrate them into the solution really allows us to ensure that there is going to be a popular solution and they can join in, participate, and then we help both sides. We help people accessing the services, we help people offering the services, and I think that that would be my main recommendation. I will definitely mention the city of Warsaw, Indiana, city in northern Indiana. They've embraced it because they have a large and is growing really fast, their Hispanic population. So they've embraced it, but they've also seen the benefit. They've been able to see the numbers of hours that they're saving, and that translates to money. It translates to savings to the city. And then also corporations and organizations that hire a lot of limited English proficiency individuals, they realize that by providing these services, not only they can keep them happier, they can also help them develop themselves, and they can ensure that they become companies where people want to go because they just like the company. It's a company, they become companies of choice. Start doing this work now, because Indiana is early. If we look and compare it to other states in the United States, Indiana has still a low non-English speaking population comparatively. I think that we're at the perfect time to start implementing these solutions to understand our community better, to prepare to collect the data, because once we have that, we can prepare the solutions that make sense to what we're looking at. But we can also develop the infrastructure ahead of time so that once this is bigger, we are prepared. Absolutely. I think that if you're a business that is thinking about this, maybe you want to hire your first employees. We've had an organization that wanted to invite the Hispanic community through their doors, and they couldn't. We worked with them for a year, and now they've grown that area of their business, but it's because they took time to invest in it. They had thought, there was thought through behind it, and now that's a segment that they can serve. But because this is a growing population, I think all businesses could be thinking about how much of this can they do. Some of them will have to take more action because maybe they hire more people, or maybe they just want to do more of it. But I believe that all businesses would benefit from thinking through it and determining through the same data they're collecting what is it going to be, what is our approach now that we understand what we're looking at. Yeah, so I came from Chile about 8 years ago. I went to Grace College in Warsaw, Indiana. And after my first year, I went to my dorm and I thought, I love this place, I love being here, and this is a great opportunity. And I thought, how can I give the same opportunity to more people around the world that don't have these same opportunities? And so for us, Language Matters started as a company providing English language training and to people abroad. And then I just realized through living here that there's so many needs for people that live right here that are going unmet. And I thought, we've got to do something here locally. And that's when we started working, providing professional services, translation, interpretation, language training for people that have been living here. And we realized that a lot of people want to learn Spanish or other languages as well, so we started doing that too. And it was a few years after college that I just wanted to do it bigger. I just wanted to have the biggest impact possible, and I thought working with local government, with municipalities, with businesses would allow me to broaden that, serviceable market and the impact. We've always been a company of impact, so we want to reach as many people as possible, and the municipalities and corporations, nonprofits have given us the opportunity to get to those people, and it's been a fantastic experience. Mm-hmm.
You can find more information about the work that Language Matters is doing through our website. You can also see how you can get involved. Just follow the QR code, gets you right there. Up next this hour, accounting and bookkeeping. The Chief Finance and Administrative Officer for Indy Chamber talks about strength in numbers and the difference it can make.
This Week in Business is made possible by Indy Biz Pass. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back. Accounting and bookkeeping is clearly a numbers game. CPA ZeNai Savage, Chief Finance and Administrative Officer for the Indy Chamber, explains the importance of strength in numbers.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Accounting and Bookkeeping.
So as a CPA, I really believe in just the strength in numbers, but I also believe in the stories that numbers can tell. And behind every data point is a person, a business, or a vision to really move the economy forward. So in Central Indiana, our economy is really driven by small businesses and entrepreneurs. And we know that small businesses, entrepreneurs make up a majority of the workforce. Across the country, we're leading in new businesses, small businesses, Black and brown, women-owned businesses, the startups. But we've also seen that after a couple years, we hit a wall when it comes to sustainability, growth, and scaling the small businesses. So the work that the Indy Chamber is doing through its CDFI, which is a community development financial institution, it's the Business Ownership Initiative, or BOI. It's a certified CDFI, and so we provide access to capital, one-on-one coaching, tools and tips to really help businesses grow and scale, which is why CDFIs like BOI are so important and can help grow and scale businesses. We do understand that there are multiple CDFIs in the market. There are also other service providers, workshop providers, and the point is all of us can work together as a collaborative to really help grow and scale small businesses. This work is really important to me. A lot of the time that I spend, even in my personal time as a board member of the Indiana CPA Society and of NABA, is encouraging professionals to use the skills that we have in order to support community and small businesses. And it's really important that as we move forward and as we think about growing and scaling businesses, that we really are partnering with each other along the way. Strength in numbers for me isn't just a catchphrase, it's not just an accounting phase. It's really about us trying to create a more inclusive, collaborative ecosystem. We're really hoping to be able to move the economy forward, move the Indy region forward, and create inclusive growth so that all businesses, all people can thrive. When we align all of our efforts across finance, across government, across the private sector, we really build an economy that's more resilient and more equipped to adjust to the future.
Coming up, we find out how an advisory group is helping CEOs, the bosses, become better leaders.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back. Kevin Brenniger spent more than 2 decades as the leader of the Indiana Chamber of Commerce, largest business organization in the state. Now he's working as a coach with a group of CEOs and business owners to help them become better leaders.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, running your business day to day.
I'm Kevin Brenniger. I'm I guess I would say recently retired president and CEO of the Indiana Chamber of Commerce, where I served there for 31 years, 22 years as president and CEO, which is a statewide business advocacy organization representing businesses of all types and sizes and locations across the state. We had members in all 92 counties. Led a team of lobbyists that advocated for business. We really served as the voice of business. Also provided assistance to business through employee training programs, regulatory compliance seminars, events, and activities like Indiana's Best Places to Work recognition. And so I finished that career last year in 2024, and have moved on to pursue a passion to pay forward the many blessings and the many opportunities I've had from that unique position as CEO of the Chamber, and literally getting to work with and around several hundred CEOs over that 31 years. And now I'm spending part of my time in retirement helping the next generation, the current generation of CEOs and business owners. I did a lot of research on what kind of engagement I wanted to have post-retirement, and concluded that this was the best one. And it's a bit different than just one-on-one, although there is a one-on-one element of this. What they do is pull together a group, 12 to 16 usually, CEOs and business owners, founders, together who are in non-competing industries. And they get together for a private, confidential gathering once a month. We'll bring in literally nationally known speakers on whatever topic, and that usually makes up the morning. And then we do what's called issue processing, where someone has a big decision coming up. They may have an investment opportunity. They may have personnel problems. And we draw it out with questions, and then the peer group provides suggestions, solutions, and then the member who's having their issue processed makes a commitment for action, and then the coach and the other members hold them accountable, because they don't want to help somebody and give them ideas and solutions and then have them not act on that. So and everybody has to both give and take, and then I, the coach, my title is chair, meet with them individually one-on-one each month at times other than when the whole group is getting together. What was really struck me was the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. And Vistage members see a revenue growth rate that is 2.2 times faster than non-members. And that's documented by Dun & Bradstreet at different points in time. And it's because they make better, faster decisions, they become better leaders, and that in turn accelerates the growth rate for these companies. Another example of data that really struck me is that in 2020, during the height of the pandemic, before we had any vaccines, non-members, businesses in general, saw a revenue drop, of an average of 4.6%. Vistage members, their revenue grew by 4.7%. So that's about a 9.5% difference. And again, it's the power of the group, the power of having a confidential group of other CEOs and owners who serve as your advisor and you serve as their advisor. In the meetings I've had so far, I've been amazed at how this process of question just really draws people out and they bare their soul, and then you can begin to dive into, okay, here's the things we can do to help you become a better leader. In fact, I've got a one-on-one session tomorrow with my first, one of my first members, and it's been amazing. And that's really what this is about, is we say better leaders, better decisions, better results. And I'm just enjoying it as a way to give back and pay it forward from the many blessings that I had during my many years at the Indiana Chamber. It still gives me a lot of satisfaction that I'm pursuing my passion of paying it forward, because I just had so many mentors and coaches and folks. I mean, during my 22 years as CEO, I got a new CEO boss every year because our board chair. And you had to learn how to get along with them. You had to learn what their priorities are, where they wanted to, and help them make their mark during their chairmanship year. I remember, and the different personalities. I remember Andre Lacey, now deceased CEO of LDI. He wanted to make his mark with governance. And so, and we had a great result of that because we had charters for all of our different operating committees and policy committees. It was something we didn't have before. And others have wanted to make their mark in other ways. And you know, to be able to maneuver that and keep your job and, you know, and deal with all these different personalities, that helped me learn and grow as a leader myself.
Ed, we talk with the owner of the Indianapolis Alley Cats, part of the Ultimate Frisbee Association. Find out how it all began. This is Business Equity and Opportunities. For Derek Tao, watching his first game of Ultimate Frisbee was a case of love at first sight. He shares with us his journey from fandom to being an owner of the Indianapolis Alley Cats.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
So I'm Derek Tao. I'm an owner of the Indianapolis Alley Cats, which you can see here. We are at Coons Stadium in downtown Indianapolis on 1502 West 16th Street. And for those of you that have been around the Horn for a while, this was, I think, Cathedral High School's football field for many, many years. And then they redid it for the Pan Am Games in '87. And then Indy Parks had run it for many, many years. And then a group recently took it over to and leased it from the city. And they're going to, for the next 20 years, they're going to put a lot of money into this place and build it up into a major sports facility and stadium in the city. So we're excited that it's our home, but it is Coons Stadium. It's for the city. It's still an Indy Parks facility, so the community can still use it. You just got to rent time as you normally would. So the Indianapolis Alley Cats are a team, one of 24 teams in 2 countries in the Ultimate Frisbee Association, the UFA. We've been around since 2012. We're one of 2 teams that started the league in 2012, along with Detroit. There were 8 teams in the league then, and now there are 24 teams in pretty much every major United States city and 2 in Canada. So there's a team in Montreal and a team in Toronto that all major cities in the United States essentially have a team. And so we've been kind of the Green Bay Packers of the league because we're a small market. We've always been successful. We have a winning record. And the sport has just kind of grown like that around us as well in the league. So, but the Alley, we're Ultimate Frisbee. So it's 7-on-7 on a football field with one of these. And this is a regulation 175 gram Frisbee that we use as basically our ball. And if it was soccer, it would be a soccer ball, but it's Frisbee. So it's like watching soccer, but it's with a Frisbee. Well, I always say everybody that I know grew up with one of these in their garage. So one way or another, you had this in your hand as a kid. So when one of my sayings is you can't have one of these in your hand without a smile on your face, right? So getting people to say, oh, that's a Frisbee is already automatic for all of us. So to know that there's a sport built around it and it's a purely American sport that's high scoring and high action and easy to follow and easy to learn. You don't have to have a master's degree to understand the sport. I could teach you our sport in 1 quarter. You'd be like, I get it. It's very simple to follow as a fan. And if you're anything like me, as a sports fan, when I saw it, I just fell in love with it immediately. And then as an entrepreneur, I saw the business side of it going, this sport could be the next great American sport. And I keep saying that because once it's discovered, I don't think there's a ceiling for it. And I really don't. And it's not like soccer or lacrosse or anything that you have to learn that has a high fan level of figuring it out. It's very simple to watch and to learn and just to get it. And our fans love it the first time they come out and see it, and they keep coming back. Yeah, so I'm a West Sider my whole life. Grew up in Chapel Glen and Fulton and Ben Davis, and actually got my degree from IUPUI, so in media studies. So my whole background is in media study, in media work. So I do commercials and films and a lot of corporate stuff and politicals and things like that. That's where I make my living, and I started out doing that out of college in 1995. And at one point I decided I need to do this on my own and be an entrepreneur. So I kind of wish I had studied finance or management or business in college, because that's what I've had to learn on my own. So the production side comes really naturally, but the business side is tough. I just got to dig down and learn that stuff. But when the sport came to me, I figured I know live event stuff, and I know promotions, and I know production. So this was just a natural extension of, I think I can make this thing happen. And so I got in touch with the team ownership at the time in 2017. I said, let me come out and help you guys next year, just doing free media for you guys. So I did that in 2018. At the end of the season, he said, man, you got a skill set that we don't have and we need. Would you want to become part owner in this team? And I said, 100%, I'm right there. And for some reason, it just made sense to me. I could see a path to success with the sport, and being able to apply all my skill sets to the sport to try to help out our team. And so far, we've been doing really good. COVID kind of knocked us back a little bit. It knocked our whole league back. It knocked the whole world back. But what you do is you pivot, and you find ways to get through it, and now it's growing back again, bigger and stronger and better than ever. So we're excited about it. Well, I tell you, we're one of 5 teams in the summer that plays downtown that's a professional team. You've got the Indians, and you've got the women's and men's 11, and then you've got the Colts and the Fever and the Pacers. And they're going to be ending their seasons pretty soon. Not the Fever, but the Pacers are, hopefully with a win in the finals. We've really become this professional hub we've got all these great venues, and we've got such a great sports atmosphere in Indianapolis. We know sports. So it's not a hard sell to get involved in pro sports. We got the Valor that are new to this season, doing women's tackle football. So that's new in the city. You've got the Ignite, you've got the Freight that are playing up at Fishers, and the Fuel. So it's very attractive as a professional sports hub in America because it is so friendly, business friendly, really. It's very easy to start a business here. And to sell this business of sport to our fan base is not hard, especially once they come see it. So it's like the hardest part for me is getting someone to get in their car and drive out to see something they've never heard of and spend money to do that. That's really difficult to do. So promotions plays a big part in it. And I think just because our town is so focused on quality professional sports, I think you could rest assured it's a quality event. It's a family-friendly event. It's going to be very fun. We really focus on the fan experience. So whether or not you like our sport or don't like the sport, you're going to have a fun time out at the game. And that's whether we win or lose. When you go to an Indians game, I don't even know if they won or lost the last game, because we just love the experience. We're really good at that at Indy. And so we're just trying to become an extension of that and using that, down the road as our calling card. Is like, if you go to a pro sports event in Indy, it's going to be good. You're going to have a great family time, bring your family out to it. So.
The Alley Cats play home games at Kuntz Stadium downtown. You have 3 more opportunities to see them in action this season: June 28th, July 12th, July 19th. Follow the QR code for more information on how to watch. Next, we go one-on-one with creators of PopCon and learn the personal and emotional story of how it all began. Welcome back. Indiana's own Chris Keys and Carl Doninger are co-founders of PopCon Indy. They're on a mission to create an inclusive and safe environment where everyone can be themselves. They share with us their story and what it means on a very personal level.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
My name is Chris Keys, and I am a co-owner of PopCon. We have been doing this 14 years now, since 2014?
Well, yeah, close enough.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Hopefully we'll be doing it for a lot longer.
Carl Doninger, other co-owner, and yeah, we started this in a pizza shop in 2012, first event in 2014. We've been going strong for 12 years since.
Well, we both went to IU. Carl is really good friends, if not best friends, with my brother, and they still are huge Gen Con people and have helped with Gen Con. And I think that's kind of what got the ball rolling.
Yeah, and his kids went to school with an original founder's kids that owns comicspriceguide.com, and they wanted to start a comic book convention. Ryan and I, his brother, wanted to start a tabletop gaming convention, and we met over that pizza lunch and came up with PopCon right there. So we're neither a comic book convention nor a gaming convention. We're both of those things plus everything else now.
And then Sean, another guy that worked for Comic Price Guide, said you guys should look into YouTube. It's going to be big. Who'd have guessed? Right?
We weren't going to have our first event until 2015, but a competitor of ours that shall go unnamed came in and stepped into our territory from Florida. And so we hurry up and got a contract from the convention center and hotels and put on our first event in 2014.
Yeah, I would say it wasn't a light bulb, it was probably more of a candle. Yeah.
Getting into large events, so convention center sized events, if you're not from that world, you don't know what you don't know. And that first year, which went incredibly well operationally, we learned a lot.
And luckily there were 8 owners. So we all wore different hats. So we all were playing different roles. And had we not had all 8, I don't think we would have survived year 1.
And our name has absolutely nothing to do with the products in front of you either. It's funny that people associate us with Pops, but that has nothing to do with it. Pop is just pop culture, and Pops were not even as big of a thing 12 years ago. Yeah, tabletop gaming really exploded during COVID. People and video games, there was a complete resurgence. A lot of TV series that people didn't have time to watch all of a sudden were getting binged like crazy during COVID. And I would say, you mentioned comic books. I think Marvel was a big push in that one. It was cool again, or cool for the first time, I don't even know, to just be out and about and amongst your peers.
My favorite thing about PopCon is that I think everybody has their own geek in them. Whether it's a sports fan who dresses up and paints their face blue and white for the football games, that's no different than somebody who dresses up like a Marvel character or a anime character. It's all the same. Everybody has some kind of geek that they love. And the great thing about PopCon is that we bring a little bit of all of those things to our fan base. And so your kid might be into anime, you might be into Bosch, the TV show, somebody else might be into shopping for art, and you can do all of those at PopCon. That's my favorite thing about it.
I enjoy seeing how happy people are at our event, and I go out of my way to find the awkward parents in the corner that their kids have drugged them there over the years, and it's always a different parent, and I'll tell you why. Because once I talked to them and I explained their kid is off meeting the Deadpool voice actor or whatever, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but the parent doesn't realize everything that we have for them at the show. With this year, we have world-class magicians and bot battles. But it's funny that it's the parents that light up when I start telling them the other things that they didn't even realize was happening simultaneously, and that their kid is safe. And then it's the parent that I see the next year and not necessarily a kid. And it's amazing to me that they come up and say, thank you for introducing us to this. And now I'm trying not to cry, because it's the happiness that it's just so much fun. PopCon is all just about fun.
We want everybody to be able to enjoy it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and like Carl was saying, to allow the family to feel safe, to allow somebody who doesn't get to feel like they're themselves 362 days of the year, they get to be themselves at PopCon.
We attract all socioeconomic backgrounds, all political leanings, all education levels, and when they're all under the same roof of PopCon, all that's just thrown out of the window, and everybody's just there to have a good time.
And the feeling of the support that you get. So if you feel a little awkward in some communities, you shouldn't feel awkward at PopCon. If you have social anxiety, we have spaces that you can go to so you can feel better. We try to make it a very friendly event. I've been to Gen Con and it's amazing. Gen Con is awesome. There's tons of people. It's overwhelming for me. I want to provide a space that people can go to and learn what a convention is like. And you don't have to dress up. You don't have to wear anything specific. You don't have to love only one thing. You can literally go there and find whatever you want to find that you enjoy. And that's what I want people to know.
PopCon Indy averages 40,000 attendees. Chris and Carl say they work hard to make it an event where every fan finds their place. It runs June 27th through the 29th at the Indiana Convention Center. Follow the QR code for more information. Last week, our business equity and opportunities cameras went underground with Citizens Energy for an update on the DigIndy tunnel system, which leaders say will lead to thousands of jobs and bring new opportunities in construction and engineering. The system is on track to be complete and operational by the end of this year. Already active portions of the system have captured and treated more than 7 billion gallons of wastewater, protecting local waterways. We have more on the history and the future impact of the DigIndy tunnel system coming up later this summer. Join us next week for a look at high school hustles, a new cafe at the Central Library, inside a new experience-driven entertainment studio, and an industry focus is full of fireworks. All that and more information to empower and inspire you. Our show airs every Sunday, free over the air at Wish TV and free online at wishtv.com. We also post each of our 7 segments from this week and past episodes on our website, too. Be sure to catch our extended conversations on the BE&O podcast, part of the All Indiana Podcast Network. Lots of options for you. We're eager to see you. Thank you for spending this hour with us this week. Join us next week for more business equity and opportunities. And until then, I'm Scott Sander. Have a great day.
Business, equity, and opportunities. Made possible by Fifth Third Bank, Indiana Black Expo, Gemco, Indy Biz Pass, Bose McKinney & Evans, Eskenazi Health, and Lilly, a medicine company.